What is going on, world? I am the Hungarian Experiment, and welcome to my new YouTube channel, the Hungarian Experiment Talks. Now, with this new YouTube channel, I wanted to really gear things in a different way. I've been experimenting on my first YouTube channel there, the Hungarian Experiment, with not just displaying my experiments that I do and the long-term documentation of those, as well as different ways to build skills and knowledge in terms of hormonal optimization and just to be able to get the results that you seek in life. I've also been putting out, videos where I respond to YouTube comments, where I put out my perspectives on life, like how to achieve happiness, some of the first crucial tools in terms of how to gain some power in your life, as well as many other different aspects that, although I think they're important in life, I just feel like now that I have a better understanding of my journey, I feel like it's not 100% geared to building skills and knowledge or documenting my long-term experiments. So I wanted to create this separate YouTube channel so I can discuss different ideas and perspectives on life. And one of the playlists that I'm currently considering creating is called Responding to Comments. My journey is not easy to explain. I implement a lot of different life factors and I experiment around, and because of all this different experimentation, because of all this different skill and knowledge building that I've acquired and accumulated over my life, and I am still attempting to acquire and accumulate, I believe that when I go to answer some of these YouTube comments, like the one I just answered, it's like 3 or 4 paragraphs long. So I have to decide, what am I dedicating my time to? Is it worth for me to put 10 to 15 minutes into responding to one YouTube comment where, that I'm responding to that one person, and maybe some people in the future might see that it's not, I'm dedicating so much time into such a little bit of exposure, if you want to consider it that way. So I've decided that I'm going to create a part of this new YouTube channel, a part of the Hungarian Experiment Talks YouTube channel, that I'm going to create a playlist called Responding to YouTube Comments, or just responding to any different types of comments, because I get lots of comments on comments and questions on my Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram, as well as YouTube here. So the other day I created a video about all this NoFap experiments that are currently going on around the world, and especially on YouTube. It's blowing up on YouTube, these NoFap experiments. So I put out my perspective and my ideas on what I believe someone out there in the world is doing with their own NoFap experiments. And then I also discussed my own experimentation and how I stopped fapping or masturbating for about 28 days when I was 18 or 19 years old, and I just put my perspective on it. So if you guys are interested and you want to see that video, it'll pop up at the top of your screen right here, and you can also find it in the description box below. But today, as I said there, I'm just going to respond to one YouTube comment. So I'm going to read out the comment here, and then I'm going to show you guys what I left for my comment, but I'm more or less just going to discuss it because there's no point in me just reading it off. It's better for me to be able to articulate my ideas now through the camera rather than typing it out. So here we go. So Niels Castermans, bracket NELH, commented, "It's more so about transmuting the animal instinct you are talking about into energy upwards instead of the downwards pattern that porn, masturbation, orgasming developed. If you go hard mode with these thoughts constantly on your mind, I think you are not doing it right, and people see it way too simplistic. With destroying a habit like watching porn, masturbating, and orgasming, you should introduce a habit that helps you on the path to destroy the bad habit. Calming the mind in any way you can. Most people like deep breathing or meditation to do this. The moral of the story is, NoFap isn't just about not to fap. Hope this helps. Insight would be appreciated, and this is not a comment to attract negative response. Just trying to help clarify, like we all just help each other." So I love receiving comments like this. I love seeing people who are putting out their detailed, thought out response, and then even after saying, look, I'm not trying to criticize you, I'm not trying to say this negatively, I'm just putting out my insights and I want your response to it. And this is exactly why I'm creating this video, because, you know, we might get several people to comment and create a discussion, but now if I put out this video, we might get some real talks about it. So here is my comment and what I believe in this perspective. So I said, you know, exactly, I agree with you. He describes it as transmuting this animal instinct, but I describe it as conquering this instinct. We all have these animalistic instincts within us as human beings. Overcoming these instincts and not being dominated by them is the major goal. When we can overcome these animalistic instincts we all have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, like food, like sleep, like sex, these are all things that we all have to deal with. And if you can overcome them in your own life, then you're not burdened by them and the thoughts that come with them. If you are out there in the world and you are extremely hungry, you can't think properly, you can't think straight because you are dominated by that instinct. If you are overly sleepy, if you are overly tired, you're not 100% optimal. You're not thinking properly. You can't articulate yourself properly. And I believe that is the same type of instinct as we have with our sexual instinct. We are sexual beings. If you compare us to bonobos, if you can compare us to chimpanzees, I really suggest checking out the book Sex at Dawn, which I discussed in that NoFap video, which is in the description box below there and should have popped up at the top of your screen. We are very closely related to our ancient ancestors, and they were sexual beings. I think this is an instinct that we need to conquer, or if you can overcome it by holding off and distracting yourself with other things in life, then that is the best way to overcome it. Life is situational. What may work for you, what may I can't talk today. What may work for you, what may work for me might be completely different, but built upon the different factors in our lives. So I believe it is very important to learn how to conquer these animalistic instincts in our lives. If you can conquer that animalistic sexual drive by withholding from masturbating for 6 to 7 months, then awesome. But if you are doing it trying to achieve something, yet when you constantly go out in the world, you're constantly distracted by women, you're constantly distracted by images in the world that get this instinct going, then that's not doing anything for you. And that was just my experience when I withheld from masturbating for 28 days. So let's get back to the comment and response here. So some people go their whole lives constantly trying to satisfy these animalistic instincts as short-term rewards, thinking that they are achieving happiness. Think of it like when you're starving, you eat a big meal. It's satisfying. When you go to sleep and you wake up after you're extremely tired, it is satisfying. When you need to piss or you need to take a shit real bad, and you're holding it in, waiting to get to that bathroom, and you finally let it go, it's satisfying. It is a reward. But this is just short-lived happiness. These are just hitting those animalistic instincts that we all have. I believe that the ultimate happiness as a human being comes from achieving something great in our lives, which comes from years upon years of skill and knowledge building. If you can't build skills and knowledge to the most optimal way you can in your specific life with your unique life situation because you're constantly being dominated by these animalistic instincts every single day, then you will never achieve that ultimate happiness. So I ended the comment here by saying if you are a young man and you're not sexually active, if you're 16, 17, and 18, like the guy that I'm comparing in that video, he was sexually active for the first 4 months of his NoFap experiments. So as he's sitting there and discussing how he feels so much higher, he feels like a higher human being because he has not masturbated for 8 months, I feel he's not being completely open and honest with the fact that for the first 4 months, he was sexually active. When you know you're able to conquer this animalistic instinct, if you know that you're extremely hungry, but you know in the next half an hour that you're gonna get food, it's bearable. You can get through that half an hour. But if you have no idea when the next opportunity to get food is, it's even more distracting. It's even more dominating on your mind. So as I said there, if you're a young man and you're not sexually active and you're distracted when you go out in public, as I was after 28 days of NoFap, then this can be detrimental to the amount of skills and knowledge you can build just because you're not satisfying this animalistic thing that we all have to deal with. For myself, I calm my mind by conquering these animalistic instincts. Once they are conquered, I can truly give my mind into the things that I am passionate about, like this, like sitting here and discussing my opinions and my ideas on a video, or typing it out here and spending my time. But if I'm sitting here and I'm conquered and I'm being dominated by my animalistic instinct to eat or to sleep, I'm dead tired, I'm not giving my full self into it. And I believe, just as I said with food, with sleep, we need shelter. If we don't have these things in our life and we're not conquering them, then we can't give ourselves 100% and put our most optimal amount of skills and knowledge into whatever we are most passionate about. So that is just my opinion on it, and that was my opinion on NoFap and the whole NoFap experiments. Life is situational. Depending on where you are in your path in life, you're gonna have to manipulate factors to make them work the best way for you, the most optimal way for you in your unique life situation. So, you know, that guy, I believe he said he was 28 to 30 years old. I'm 26 now. I have a consistent, regular relationship where I can rely on the sexual things that, whatever. I'm not gonna go too deep into that. I already did that in the other video. So if you wanna know about that, as I said, go check out that video. But I know that I'm gonna conquer this animalistic instinct. So the idea of not masturbating is definitely going to, I can get over it. I can be like, you know what, I can wait a few days because I know I'm gonna conquer this instinct. But for someone who's younger, who's constantly out there on the prowl with their hormones jacked up and being around other men who are just trying to sleep with any women they can, that might not be the best method for them. So my whole YouTube channel, the Hungarian Experiment YouTube channel, and as I like to say is, we need to stop pretending that life can fit in one little box for every single person. We need to learn how to manipulate life to give us the results we want by adding as much skill and as much knowledge into our arsenal of tools as possible. If you build up these skills and you build up this knowledge, then you can go out there in the world and you can manipulate any kind of situation to get the best results for you because you know you've rigorously experimented with it and you know the effects that are going to occur if you fast for 20 hours or if you withhold from masturbating for 2 weeks because your girlfriend's on a trip or something like that. So that is all I want to leave you guys with here today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you saw here, if you like this idea of me responding to YouTube comments through a video instead of just, you know, responding to them through text, then I'd love to hear your opinions. So please go leave me a comment. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate all the people who have come over to this YouTube channel, my Hungarian Experiments Talk channel, from my first YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much. Some of you guys have been here along the journey from the start, and honestly, I appreciate that more than anything. You guys are amazing. I wouldn't be able to do this without the support from you guys. So thank you so much for watching this video. I am the Hungarian Experiment. The world, and you can